to the free astrotheology course. Our textbook is still the Astrology of the Old Testament, or the Lost Word Regained. All right, the Astrology of the Old Testament, or the Lost Word Regained, published in 1892, and the author is Carl Anderson. So y'all take a look at that. So there's a link in the community page. You can get a free copy of this book. It's a PDF. So if you want it, it's there. All right. So thanks everyone for joining me. Let's get into it. Hold on. Today I feel a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know what the deal is. Uh-oh, sorry about that, y'all. I'm not using the device I usually use. I forgot to bring it. I forgot to bring it. So I'm going to use this one. So let's make it do what it do. We're on chapter 14. All right, chapter 14. And well, the 12 houses or mansions described. So this is not talking about the lunar mansions that we discussed, I think, over the last maybe 2, 3, or 4 classes. There are 28 lunar mansions. So that's the lunar zodiac. This is the 12 mansions, so this is the solar or ecliptical zodiac. So the 12 houses or mansions described, the signification, the significance, the signification, nature, quality, and description of the 12 houses, okay? So, associate this in your mind with the fact that when the SUN sun enters into a zodiac, it's going to fully take on the characteristics of that zodiac sign. So here it's more specific. When the SUN sun enters into a zodiac sign, it fully takes on the signification of that zodiac sign. It takes on the full nature of that zodiac sign. It takes on the full quality or qualities of that zodiac sign. Okay? All right. The 12 houses or mansions describe the signification, nature, quality, and description of the 12 houses. That seems repetitious. That last part, and the description of the 12 houses. He already says that. The 12 houses or mansions described. Why does he do that? Maybe he's emphasizing so Choco Booth writes, Sabed, you speaking facts, bro. Islam and Shalom, assalamu alaikum. Nice to see you here. Good to see you here, brother. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Is there a reason why he repeats himself? Is it for emphasis, or is it just a style of writing at this time? Now, remember, yesterday we saw, in yesterday's class, I think it was Witness of the Stars, we saw the same style, okay, that repetition. I talked about it a little bit, or I may have said it was a poorly written scripture, not scripture, but poorly written sentences by today's standards, but that it may have been just the normal style at that time. I don't know, but we're going to find out, right? We're going to find out. So page 172. The first house. Now, the first house will depend First house will depend on the zodiacal age, right? The first house, and y'all can get more on that in a discussion on the Sphinx. The Sphinx. The first house in this book, in our primary textbook here. The first house has signification of the life of a person, the stature, complexion, and the shape of the Corinth. And Corinth here is a noun. A Corinth is a person who asks a question, especially an astrologer. So these are people who ask questions, especially astrologers. All right, and the shape of the Corinth, or native, or native, or native, or native. Why? The question is why? Why is astrologer a person who asks a question, for example, or especially an astrologer, or native? Why are they paired together? Why are they paired together? Well, in my opinion, the answer is that astrology, or the science of nature, the science of studying the celestial bodies, their movement, their electromagnetic effects, is the culture of the native people. Native meaning aboriginal, or Genesis chapter 2 verse 7, the autochthonous Moors, their culture. And that's the culture we are told to what? To return to draw back to. The religion of nature, okay, if you will, the religion of nature, or astrology. This is what, as a matter of fact, let me show y'all C.M. Bay's comment. What C.M. Bay said. Hopefully I can find it right away. Hold on. About our culture. Give me 1 second, y'all. So give me 1 second. So I got this booklet is a bunch of different PDFs that I downloaded from enforcetheconstitution.org. So y'all should go there, download the material, and put it in book form. Then whenever you need to have it, you can refer to it. And it's very convenient, very, very convenient. You just go to one place and the website is not cluttered. That's what I like most about it. It's not cluttered. Some websites you can go to and it's just cluttered. But it's a clean website. Right? Let me not use clean. It's not cluttered. Okay, it's very easy to find things. How did you look at it? Choco both writes, I've never looked at it like that before. How did you look at it? I'm curious to know. So yeah, let me see if I can find this, okay? Give me 1 second. Sometimes I write my notes, but sometimes I get caught up in reading and I don't make my my margin notes. Give me 1 second. Hold on, let me turn these notifications off. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So let me see. Let me give this to y'all from an authoritative source. So it's not just Dr. Yasapa saying it. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. Y'all give me a second, please, while I search for this. Wow. Man, I almost want to read this subheading. C.M. Bay is the man, y'all. Or was the man. Hold on. C.M. Bay was the man. If you can understand his work, you can understand his work very easily if you know about astrotheology. It's like, where do you even begin? When you read Clock of Destiny, Volume 1, where do you even begin to talk about? It's so much to talk about. It's so much that's relevant, even to what we're talking about now. Choco Booth writes, I thought it was more of a connection of function, if that makes sense. Okay, I see your point. Hold on, y'all. But at some point, I will remember page numbers. It's just a matter of time. I'll remember page numbers. This is why it's always good to make margin notes. So times like this, and for some reason I'm pretty sure I made a margin note, but I may not have. Hold on. Okay, so let me I'm interested, this has my attention, so let me just share this with y'all, okay? Okay, Keynote of Wisdom. I'm going to start with Keynote of Wisdom on page 6. Clock of Destiny, Volume 1. In order that you might readily understand the contents of this book, you are advised to momentarily lay aside all that which you have been taught to believe, except mathematics. How about that? And as a result, you will be guided by common reason rather than by traditional emotional belief. And let me also throw this in there for those of us who are in the professions, engineering, medicine, architecture, law, etc. A lot of what we learn in our formal academic education, not just in the specialty or in your field, but all of the foundational classes, a lot of that stuff is just not true. It's not true. And a lot of it, everybody knows that a lot of it, well, almost all of it, is just built on theories. But those theories are taught as though they're true, right? But they're not theories. They're not theorems. They're not proven mathematically. They're just the best guess. And the gatekeepers, they say this is what it is. So that's what it is, right? These are the people who, let's say if you're doing a PhD, You write an article, you want it to be peer reviewed, they're going to review it to see if the content of it meets their standards, right? Based upon what they accept, the theories that they accept, right? And I want to say something, but I know if I say it, YouTube, I know will take the video down. I know from experience, all right? But there are a lot of things that you've been taught, or told rather, indoctrinated with, that you hear about over the media that makes you afraid. To touch someone, to be close to someone, and in their breathing space, that's just not true. It's just not true. We're dealing with religion and academia. Religion, okay? Secret societies, religion, dark, black magic. In other words, the power of the pen and the power to change perception, or the power to make someone perceive something, be it through the eyes, the ears, or whatever, that's not really there. To get them to do or accept whatever it is you want them to do or accept. All right, there's a lot of that. And I think most people in the professions never reach that. Or if they reach it, they're too afraid to talk about it, or to even study it. They're too afraid, right? Because of everything that you can lose. But anyway, so I would just add on to that. There's a lot of what we call science today is nothing but religious doctrine. So I agree with C.M. Bay here, where he says, and as a result, you will be guided by common reason, by common sense, rather than by traditional emotional belief. The emotional belief is coming from religion and coming from media, TV and radio, right? Make you afraid, stimulate you sexually, make you want to be, buy something. But also in academia, in the classroom, even K through 12. Even K through 12, a lot of that, in fact, probably most of it is just lies. Just outright lies, okay? Or in other words, doctrine. Doctrine presented as truth. So I would just add that in there. Now let's continue. I am aware of the fact that both Muslim, M-O-S-L-E-M, and Christ teachers have a monopoly on mystic religious superstition. Yeah, that's the dark priesthood, the brotherhood of Saturnalia, okay? Or Robert Taylor in The Devil's Pulpit talks a lot about the Dark Prince, right? The Dark Prince, the worshippers of Zoroaster, and all of that. These guys, they wear the black robes, all of secret society members today. Okay, now let's continue. But not on mathematics. So they don't have a monopoly on mathematics, according to C.M. Bay. The science of geometry, involving the 12 signs of the Zodiac, the universal law, Islam. The science of geometry involving, in other words, you apply geometry to the celestial bodies, specifically to the zodiac signs in this case. This is the universal law. Islam, I self-law am master. I self-law adept master. Y'all see it? Chocolate Booth Rice, I thought it was more of a connection. Oh, I already read that. Okay. Now let's continue. Astrology and astronomy. The difference between astrology and astronomy, so now they teach astronomy in universities. Why? Because they want to make astrology, which was taught in the ancient days, they want to make it look like they're separate. Okay, and astrology, they defame it, make people afraid of it, give it a negative connotation. And then they do the reflection of it, right? The reflection of it is astronomy. All right, and they talk about astronomy as though it's clean and pure, like it's godlike. Okay? So the difference between astrology and astronomy is that astrology treats of human characteristics, talent, action, and reaction. Action and reaction, cause and effect, sociology, economics, and global geography, or space and time. So what he's talking about is the electromagnetic effect on consciousness and physical beings and men and women. All right? Astronomy is the priest, pope, bishop, rabbi, preacher, duke, duchess, queens, king, and Anglo-Saxon lord code of the Christian world, of whom propagates the myth, culture of heaven and the sky, and hell below after death. Well, I think that I don't think I need to say anything more on that, right? Because it's they who push this, okay? And by the way, y'all know in a lot of the religious organization I used to be in years ago, they use pictures of outer space in their literature all the time. Okay? Right? The space is always expanding, it's boundless. This quote unquote God who created this ever expanding universe. And all of that's garbage. Okay, there is no beginning and there is no end. You can never get something from nothing. It is an impossibility. You can never get something for nothing, from nothing. Right? A child can understand that. So where would the underlying laws come from that govern the reaction or that govern the relationships between any type of energy? In other words, where would the intelligence come from? So there would have had to be intelligence. Y'all see that? So you can never get something from nothing. You can only get something from something. This is why I think in the late 80s, early 90s, as I remember, scientists started talking about, well, yeah, there's a God, intelligent design. Yeah, there has to be a designer, but he used evolution to do it. Okay, so he used evolution to do it. Well, why did they say that? Well, because they need to keep themselves at the top of those things that evolve, so that they can say they're the most intelligent. So therefore, the world is their inheritance, right? Because they came last, so they're the top of the evolutionary chain. So therefore, it's God's will that they own and possess everything, and that you are of lesser intelligence if you are more. You're sub, as they would say, human, right? Well, of course, we Moors are not human. Human is Han Uman, hue, color, colorable, the colorable man, who is Han Uman, who is a human, who is non-descendable in law. You can check a dictionary. Just look up monster. You'll see human. Okay, non-descendable. Okay, anyway, so let's keep going. Next paragraph. The Christian astronomers are the stargazers who go to quote-unquote heaven by way of an expensive telescope and promulgate, well, these days a telescope and a computer and computer graphics, right? And a whole bunch of made-up stuff, okay? To make images that are designed and intended to move you emotionally, to put you in a state of awe. Okay? All right. So they make these expensive telescopes and promulgate or push, right, that which they imagine live on the planets. Mars, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Moon, and Venus. This is relevant today. This is relevant today, right? This whole conversation about UFOs, and y'all know what's most likely going to happen. They're going to say, yeah, the UFO thing, this is a threat. It's a threat. Okay? And what are they going to do? Well, they're going to take more of your rights. Or in other words, they're going to centralize power even more. Make the administrative state more oppressive, more pervasive in all aspects of your life. Okay? This is what they're going to do. And scare you to death. And even get you on your knees to beg them to do it, to save you. To beg them to save you, to protect you from the alien UFO people. All of this stuff, y'all, they just make it up to gain control over your mind and your imagination. All right, so they can pull your strings. All right, let's continue. Such philosophy definitely cannot help solve our economic and social problems. Absolutely not. It should be clear. There is no God in the sky. There is no alien, no matter what name you give the alien. Ain't nobody coming to save you. No corporate government is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. But they've conditioned you through these religions and through their science to look for somebody else to save you. No, but you can save yourself with your what? With your mind power. By knowing who you are. And then you can use natural phenomena, using it to create technology. Study it as a science. And then from what you study and learn, create technology. Save yourself. Okay? But in civics, we would learn law. We would learn law. And for us Moors, the big thing right now, the focus is, what you need to know is due process, because that's what's being denied to us, due process of law. And of course, who you are, your nationality. That's what you need to know. Man, know thyself. Okay? If you know yourself, your whole world can change. If you're willing to use your mind, think, use your imagination, etc. But anyway, let me try to stay focused on this. The real moon, by the way, he says such philosophy cannot help solve our economic and social problems. Why is this the issue for CMB? Well, you can't do anything. You can't do anything in a state where you have economic, or you got, let's say, money problems, and you're living in a capitalistic de facto corporate state, like y'all in the U.S. or like y'all in the UK or wherever you are. Okay, if you don't have the fiat, you won't even have a place to live, or you won't be comfortable. You won't have enough time, enough energy to think about the higher things. They got you so busy, all you can do is go to work, come home, and go to sleep. And whatever else you might do in between that. You only got 24 hours in a day. And believe me, they know who you are. And they know the power of your mind. And they know the power of your imagination. So they keep you busy and give you drugs and alcohol and media, so on and so forth. Because if you ever find out who you are, and you start to use that imagination of yours, you go into the workshop of your mind, you become, quote unquote, God. You become God. The ability to do good to someone who doesn't even deserve it, and the ability to do evil. Okay? Which might be executing justice on them without ever touching them, without ever saying a word to them. That's right. But you can do the good to yourself. You're already doing good and evil to yourself right now. Most of us are doing more evil to ourselves in our workshop of the mind through our imagination. So you're already using the faculty. You're just using it in an extremely detrimental way to yourself and your heirs. Which is why they go through all of these extremes to destroy your self-image, to make your life hard. Now you know why. Because they don't want you to wake up and discover who you really are and use that faculty of your mind called imagination. Okay? So imagination with your reticular activating system. Okay, y'all, so we have a subconscious mind, right? But you can also look at that subconscious mind as like a servo mechanism. If y'all want to learn more about that, read or get the audio book, Psycho-Cybernetics. All right, it's an automatic seek. Well, in war, it would be like a torpedo, right? Seek and destroy. We have that same mechanism in our mind, a goal-seeking mechanism. You give it a goal, it's going to find a way to hit that goal. Period. But it involves using your imagination. See, not most, but all of us are already doing it. So any poverty, any illness, any suffering that you are experiencing right now or have been experiencing is because your servo mechanism, that's the phrase that's used in Psycho-Cybernetics. The author is Dr. Maxwell Maltz. That servo mechanism, the goal is that illness. The goal is poverty that you have in your mind. You may not even be conscious of it. But you can change it. You can change it, but it requires, for one, for you to know who you are, know who you is, right? And then activate your imagination, and develop your visualization skills. Okay? That's how you get out of the economic and social problems that have us outside of the constitutional code of government, that have us, quote unquote, in the curses. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 through 68. It is a state of mind. It is a state of mind. The curses and punishments, that's a state of mind. And the blessings, wealth, nobility, that's a state of mind. And they're opposites, right? They're at the extreme opposite ends of the same line, which is the Hermetic Law of Polarity, which is the great law of opposites, or the law of opposites, okay? So let's continue. Listen y'all, listen. The real moon. Now remember, we just studied the lunar moon, or the lunar zodiac, right? The moon zodiac, and its 28 mansions. The real moon and SU and sun are under our feet. namely Earth. The real moon and sun are under our feet, namely Earth. The powers of the moon and sun dwell in woman. The powers of the moon and sun, the powers of the lunar zodiac and the solar zodiac dwell in woman, in the womb man. And that's something to think about. I mean, I'm sure I don't understand fully what this means. Is this referring to Virgo, the constellation Virgo, right? The Virgin gives birth to a son in astrology. And then the moon being the fastest moving planet. Well, planet, it's included in one of the seven, but it's a luminary, okay? The sun and the moon are luminaries. But according to the authors that I've been reading, there are 7 planets. The two luminaries are considered planets among those, 7. So the moon is going from, into each of the zodiac signs, moving quickly, right? And it's picking up information and news. Energy and information, or electromagnetic information, energy and information and news. As it spins around, now it becomes a messenger along with every other thing that we learned about. The powers of the moon and sun dwell in woman. The real moon and sun are under our feet, namely Earth. Now we know that man is thought made manifest from the soil, thought made manifest from the earth. And so therefore, it's a maximum law, or it's a well-established principle in law, that land and law are inseparable. It's a well-established principle in law, or maximum law, that moors and land are inseparable. Therefore, moors, therefore land, are the substance and subject matter of the law. The real moon and sun are under our feet, namely Earth. The powers of the moon and the sun dwell in woman. Is that because the woman, the man with the womb, holds the fetus for 9 months, and whatever she experiences and whatever she does and whatever she thinks about and feels, it's going to impact the intellectual and emotional state of that child. Is future in every sense of the word. The powers of the moon and sun dwell in woman. So we know that the lunar zodiac impacts our daily lives from birth unto death, right? It has its electromagnetic influence, and so does the sun. And that's who we are too, right? So the woman has the same effect. The woman impacts our lives from birth unto death. So we have our mother, her influences, then we have our girlfriends, the people, our female friends who influence us, and then our consorts who influence us. Now, some young men might not want to admit that they're greatly influenced by a woman, even if it's not his woman, or even if it's just a friend. Okay, but that influence is strong. So exactly what does this mean? I don't know. I mean, I would love to hear what somebody else has to say about this. Let's keep going. Now you can draw your own conclusion as to why astrology and astronomy conflict. Well, they conflict because those people in power, those beings in power, want them to conflict, right? Anything that's Moorish and that is ancient, they've defamed it, made it derogatory. Okay, and anything that involves a hybrid, it's pure and it's godlike. Okay, y'all. So there's the reason for the conflict. Astrology erases all beliefs and opinions of superstition. Why? Why does astrology erase all beliefs and opinions of superstition? Well, he gave us the answer. If you can recall, because it's the science of geometry involving the 12 signs of the Zodiac. It's the universal law. Okay? That's why. Astrology erases all beliefs and opinions of superstition. We're dealing with geometry. And y'all, if y'all remember from math class, there are agreed upon rules, you know, as to the way to solve problems in mathematics, like for example, algebra, geometry, etc. They're universally agreed upon. Okay? And if everybody follows the rules, everybody comes to the same conclusion. And it's not that way with religion. It's not that way with the medical sciences. It's not that way with any other sciences except for mathematics. Medicine is an art, as much of an art as it is a science. Okay? And in medicine, you can make stuff up. And if the people who are in power are involved with making stuff up, and nobody's going to know that it's made up, right? Nobody's going to know. And then who's going to challenge them? If you challenge them, you lose your license, or you're going to be looked at as a quack. Lose your job. You lose your job, you lose your woman. You lose your heirs, right? That's the way it is. That's the way a TI is. Okay? Astrology erases all beliefs. That would be beliefs not just in religion, but beliefs in any profession. It's history, sociology, medicine, biology. Biology is full of theories, right? Full of crap. That was the one thing I hated about biology. And then if you don't believe in evolution, they look at you like you're stupid. Oh, do you believe in unicorns? All of this stuff. You know, try to humiliate you, shame you into accepting it, or at least not challenging them. Okay? But anyway, let's continue. And opinions. And opinions. When you talk about opinions, it's not just opinions. You can get into opinions when you deal with morality and ethics. Right? Morality and ethics. And whatever religious system you're in. The morality and ethics are different, for example, in the Muslim world than they are in the Christian world. And those are different than when you go into, let's say, like a place where they're practicing Hinduism or Buddhism, right? I'll tell you another thing. One more. No sugar yet. I'll tell you another thing. In Christianity, they got you all messed up. All messed up. Overly focused on sex. Overly focused on sex. Fornication. Adultery. Now, y'all know, I'll tell y'all something. You know that anytime you try to break a habit, you will fail. Using willpower to break a habit, you'll fail. Even if you stop, there's going to be, what is it called? What's the phenomenon called? I don't remember the phenomenon. But if you stop, you'll just jump right back into it after some time. Why? Why? Sex is like breathing. Sex is like eating. It just is what it is, right? And Adam and Eve didn't go down to City Hall to get a marriage license. And they weren't sleeping with cows and sheep and gorillas and monkeys either. So all of y'all who are focused on not having sex, your mind is focused on not having sex. In other words, avoiding fornication and adultery. Well, guess what? Guess what? Because that's where you're focused, your mind is going to take you right into fornication and adultery. Period. Period. Okay, whatever your mind focuses on, that's what you're going to get. In the positive. So some people may say, oh, no, but you're focused on not having sex. Right? You're focused on not sinning. You're focused on not having sex. Well, your mind is going to take you to situations, into sexual situations. And you will, it's just a matter of time, find yourself in sexual situations, having sex. Period. You know, trying to hold your breath for as long as you can. And then take note of the number of minutes before you inhale again. Go underwater. Hold your breath. Take note that you're going to come back up and gasp for air. Why? Because it's nature. It's natural. It's required for life. And y'all, guess what else? Same as with sleeping. Try not to sleep. I know something about this because I've worked 48 hours and more. Yeah, I've literally worked 48 hours with no sleep plenty of times. When I was, this is even before medicine, I had just finished my MBA. I used to stay up on the regular 72 hours. I used to be a publisher. 72 hours I would stay up doing the layout, writing articles, doing the layout, editing the photographs, doing everything I needed to do in order to have my document ready for printing. I used to do it on the regular. 72 hours in front of a computer, no sleep. But try to do that. Okay, try to go without sleep and see what happens to you. You know what's going to happen to you if you do that? Oh, eventually you can lose your mind. Yeah, you can lose your mind if you go without sleeping. You need to dream. You need to rest your body and dream to maintain your sanity. All right. So when but anyway, I know something about going without sleep. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. But you will eventually have to go to sleep again. That's my point. You eventually have to go to sleep again. You can eat, right? I did a 45-day water fast. No food. No food for 45 days. But eventually I had to eat again. Y'all know what messed up? Well, that's another story. Or try to go without water. These are things that are natural that you cannot go without. And sex is one of those things. Now, is it that you should never go without it? No, that's not what I'm saying. It's very healthy to go without sex, but it should be something you choose for a specific time, not something that you're forced into under the threat of death, eternal death, or eternal burning in fire if you don't stop having sex. And that's what it comes down to, right? So I'm not saying you should be sleeping with everybody. I'm saying you should live harmonically with nature. That's what I'm saying. You should, if you are, well, a man or a woman, you should develop your personality in such a way where you add enough meaning, enough value to someone else's life that they want to be with you. They don't have to be with you every day, but that they want to be with you over time, or for an agreed upon amount of time. I remember I met this woman from India when I was younger. I met this woman from India, and for some reason she really liked me. Hey y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all something. In the East, women from the East are more, they will let you know that they like you. I don't want to say they're more aggressive because they're not, but as far as that, if they like you, they will let you know. You don't have to guess, okay? You're not gonna have to guess. That's one of the things I like about being here. But I used to go to this coffee shop. Cher, you know who I'm talking about. My friend Cher, if you're watching this video, you know what I'm talking about. So she used to come to the coffee shop. This Indian lady used to come to the coffee shop to see me. But of course, at that time, I didn't know her. And she did this over a long period of time. And eventually, we finally bumped into each other on campus. And so, of course, we saw each other, so we were able to, easily have a conversation that went somewhere. But to get to the point, she told me, she says, well, yeah, I'm from India, and my parents have arranged for me to get married in 2 years. I said, really, to who? She says, well, I don't know, I haven't seen him yet. And so I said, okay. I said, are you all right with that? She said, well, yeah, that's normal in my country. And she said she's first generation American, but she's raised like an Indian. And I said, okay. And so anyway, we started spending more and more time with each other. Became good friends. And she told me, she said, well, we can do anything that we want to do, but we can't have sex because, but she said, I got 2 years. That's my point, right? You can enjoy yourself, or you might be in a situation where you got a year, you got 2 years, you enjoy yourself, whatever those boundaries might be. Now, that's what I have learned through a lifetime of experience, okay? And realizing that, trying to hold back sexual desire forever, you're single, and you're gonna go until you're old and gray and die, and you never have a sexual. No, that's torture. But anyway, I spent too much time on that topic. But let's go. But I hope that helps someone. Okay. So astrology erases all beliefs and opinions of superstition. Superstition in science. I'm going to say that. Superstition in science and confusion. Religious mystery.
There you go.
Religious mystery, and this is a big part of the game in religion. Mystery, right? Keep you searching. For example, what's God's name? Keep you searching. Okay? It's layers. It's like an onion layer. Layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. You got to keep peeling back these layers. And you're always searching for something. That's the hustle in religion. Keep you busy. Keep you busy searching. Always running on that, what is it called, y'all, when the mouse runs on the wheel? But he's not going anywhere, but he's expending a lot of energy, a lot of activity, but not achieving anything. Like some people you might work with. They do a whole lot of talking, a whole lot of activity that takes them absolutely nowhere, but to someone who's not wise, they may look like they're a hard worker. They might be a hard worker, but they're running in one place, not accomplishing anything. Okay? Other than trying to make you look like you're not doing enough. So astrology continue. Erases false fear. False fear. The big one is the fear of death. False fear of burning in hell. This false fear that if you have sex with someone, well, I can't say it, but y'all think about it, okay? I'm talking about from a health point of view. This false fear that if you commit fornication, God is going to hate you forever, right? Or maybe he's going to hate you forever, maybe he won't. Only God, that's between you and God. That's something that the JW organization would tell people, its members. And so now it's a mystery. Now it's a mystery, right? You don't know if God forgave you or not. So you got to live with that not knowing, which creates what? It destroys your self-image and your confidence. Which means, well, the end of where that's going is pretty clear, right? It's pretty clear. You're going to have to pray more. You're going to have to do more. You're going to have to give more fiat. You have to beg more. And then you're always going to feel guilty and worry, which is a negative state of mind, and your subconscious mind or the cerebral mechanism will take you to that negative place that you feared. Right, y'all? Astrology has always involved this universal simple fact, namely, woman and grown sons. Woman and grown sons. Astrology has always involved this universal fact, woman and grown sons. Masons, my sons. I used to call my mother Ma. In fact, all of my siblings called our mother Ma. So I'm my son. In the course of 1 second, can observe the moon, the Escheat sun, stars, earth, and themselves without employing a telescope. Wow, y'all see that? So what is this, y'all? This is the Hermetic Law of what? The Hermetic Law of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. As inside as outside, right? Okay, so astrology has always involved the woman and her grown sons, her adult sons, okay? In the course of 1 second, you don't have to think about this. In other words, this is obvious, this is common sense. You don't have to think about it. In the course of 1 second, one can observe the moon, SUN, sun, stars, earth, and themselves without employing a telescope. You don't need any type of technology. All you need is what? Eyes to see. Eyes to see. And you need your eyes to be coupled with your mind so that your mind can perceive what they're seeing. Now y'all keep in mind Mark, I think it's Mark chapter 4, where JC, the Christ figure, said out of his own mouth, I speak to them in parables, so that although having eyes to see, they can never perceive. Although having ears to hear, they can never hear. Why? What's the purpose of that? Because if they ever perceived what they saw, and if they ever understood what they hear or what they heard, they could repent. Repent means turn around, stop doing the bad action. This is what they teach you in religion, right? Turn around, stop doing that bad action. Don't do it anymore. And feel sorry for that bad action or that sin. The JC says he does not want you to be able to repent. Well, then why? Well, JC tells you again. He said, because if they repent, they can be saved. Now you should understand better what C and Bay is saying here. All right? This religious mystery, these religious doctrines, scientific doctrines, will cause you to be unrepentant. And therefore, you won't be saved. Burn in hell. What hell? Economic hell, poverty. You'll be a bondman and a bondwoman. You'll expire early, suffer chronic illnesses. You'll be hit with bills of attainder, bills of pain, and all of that stuff. That's actually written. These things are written in the book of the law, y'all. They're hidden in English. But I remember a couple years ago, it was the first time I showed in the Ancient Ibaryath, I showed that our enemies, the hybrids, with their Morse minions, would use public policy and courts to harass and destroy the Moors. It's right there in the Ancient Ibaryath. Okay, right there. Public policy and courts. All right. It is what it is. Okay? So you can look at yourself. You can look at your mom, your dad. You can look at another Moor. You can look up into the sky. And you can see the moon, the sun, the stars, and the earth. You can look in the mirror. And you see the moon, the sun, the stars, and the earth. And I heard I don't remember the name of it, y'all, but I heard an audio where Manly P. Hall said, out of his own mouth, that the ancient Egyptians, no, not the ancient Egyptians, these are the ancient, I think it was the ancient people. The ancient peoples had a connection with the universe whereby they could get information that man today cannot get. Man today cannot get this information. He said they certainly didn't have telescopes back then, but they were able to get this information, and that's how they knew about the cosmos. That's how they knew so much about nature and natural phenomena, out of his own mouth. So we are who our ancient foremothers and forefathers were, without a doubt or contradiction. We are they. So we still have that capacity. Now do you understand even more so why they want to destroy your self-image? Why they want to keep you entertained, watching all kind of garbage, 24/7 news cycle, 24/7 y'all watching videos, 1,000 cable channels. Y'all see why now? They don't ever want you to discover who you are, so that then you can start using your masculine mental energy, the Hermetic Law of gender, and your feminine mental energy, the Hermetic Law of gender, your will, your nationality, your imagination, the workshop of the mind, your God faculty, along with your reticular activating system. Because now you're back you are back connected with your great I am. Okay, you can have your self-image be exactly aligned, exactly the same as the real you, who is the great I am, who has no beginning and no end, never been subject to birth or death. And then you begin to function as quote unquote God, for lack of a better word. The captain of your ship. What is it? The captain of your ship, the something of your destiny. Okay? That's why. So they know. They know. This is why they try to destroy your... I remember, y'all know I have a very good memory for the things I want to remember. But I can remember back in second, third grade. I can remember before I even started school. But I remember back in second and third grade when the teachers were attacking not just my self-image, but all of us little Moors. I remember that. By saying negative things, or putting people in remedial classes, telling you that you can't do this and you can't do that, and trying to humiliate you, embarrass you and humiliate you, convince you that you are not intelligent. I remember this stuff, y'all. I remember. But there was this one teacher I had named Miss Chadoff. I'll never forget her. Miss Chadoff, she was my, was it 7th grade? 7th and 8th grade English teacher. And she was strict. Ooh, Miss Chadoff was strict. You can tell by her last name what she was. Very, very strict. She didn't play any games. You came in her classroom and sat down, and you were quiet because she didn't play. Then it turns out I got her for English. She started teaching high school English, and I got her for English in 12th grade. And they put me in a remedial English class. And Miss Chadoff was there. I'll never forget this. So Miss Chadoff, she was shocked to see me there. And so she would always tell me, she said, "You don't need to be in here. Why are you here?" I said, "I don't know." She said, "You don't, after class, why do Because she remembered me, right? You don't need to be here. Why are you here? I don't know, Miss Chadoff. And so it came test time. So I took the English test. And she gave me a slip. She said, take this to the counselor's office. So I took it to the counselor's office. And I knew him too because his wife was my teacher. His wife was my, I think, 5th or 6th grade teacher, Miss Watson. I used to love Miss Watson. Everybody loved Miss Watson. Her husband was Marvin. And she was very influential in all of our lives, y'all. And Mr. Watson looked at it. He said, well, what was, I think my reading level, my reading level was like almost second year college. So he said, why are you in this class? I said, I don't know why I'm in this class. So he took me out of that class. And he told me that I can start taking classes at one of the local, it was a local college that they had a relationship with. But that's how they do you. But Miss Chadoff was a good woman. She was a good woman. So not all of the hybrids are bad. I don't want anyone to think that. But she was a good woman. I never forget it. She said, why are you in this class? She was so strict, so stern. But I think everyone knew she cared about her students, right? Everyone knew because that woman would teach you. You come to her class and she would teach you. Yeah. But anyway, let's keep it going. All right. Therefore, woman and grown sons comprise the supreme manifestation of the whole creation, space and time, which need no doctrine of religious mystery, fear and superstition, to influence them to employ what is right. I agree with them 100%. There's nothing else that needs to be said on that. Because the science of astrology, this is geometry, the science of geometry, the science of astrology, the universal law, woman, S-O-N-S, sons, earth, water, air, heat, and food constitute the great force of creation, often referred to in sciences as electromagnetic, current, and voltage, or atomic energy. Now we understand even better why he said that this religious mysticism, these doctrines, they don't solve economic and social problems. I like that so much, y'all. I'm going to do it again. One more again, but let me do the next paragraph first. Remember, it says here human body. I'm going to change that. Remember, man's body and mind and earth contain all elements of nature. And if you don't believe that, try eating a diet that's minerally poor. You get mineral deficiencies, well, you're going to be very sick. You'll be very sick. Your body's biochemical reactions are going to start to fail, and you're going to be sick. All right, very sick. We are what we eat, drink, inhale, and exhale. Absolutely. A lot of our ancestors, even as far back, my great-grandfather, the cause of his death was he worked in a coal mine. So he was breathing in that coal dust. That's what killed him. We are what we eat, drink, inhale, and exhale. Y'all know that if you cannot exhale waste that your lungs exhale, you know you'll get sick. Very, very sick. If you can't excrete toxins that your body is supposed to excrete, you're going to be very sick. Okay, this is no joke. If you can't absorb minerals, certain minerals, you're going to be very sick. You can eat these minerals till the cows go home. But if you can't absorb them, you got some problem that causes you not to be able to absorb some mineral, or you're going to have a mineral deficiency and you'll be sick. Because these minerals are there because they catalyze biochemical reactions. Okay? So once the car is out of gas, or once the spark plugs are gone, that car ain't starting. It's the same with you. Okay? Now it continues. Therefore, all energy generates from our stomach, mind, and earth. So Dr. CB used to talk about what? Electric foods. Okay? So if you got a problem with your stomach, an ulcer and things like that, you got trouble. But you know what can help that? Is not a medicine. Simple cayenne pepper. I know from experience. Anyway, let's continue. We, the family of man, are the only supreme moving planets or heavenly bodies. Wow. Man is the only supreme moving planets or heavenly bodies. Objects do not come to us. We go to all objects by way of walking, riding, flying, sailing, observation, mathematics, of course vibration. That's the Hermetic Law of vibration, right? Vibration of sound and signal. So we the family of man are the only supreme. So that adjective supreme are the only supreme moving planets. What does he mean by only supreme moving planets or heavenly bodies? Are there planets and heavenly bodies, and then there are supreme planets and heavenly bodies? What does he mean? So I've heard, I think it was Santos Bonacci. Y'all can learn a lot by watching Santos Bonacci's videos. Y'all should watch him. He's a Moor from Italy. Grew up in Australia. Presently lives, domiciles in Mexico. And he really knows the topic. And he talks a lot about synchronism, magnetism, electromagnetism. Y'all should study his videos. I don't know. I think I'm going to email him. Maybe he'll respond. If he responds, I'll let y'all know what he says about what this means. I don't know. Okay, next. Our code of facts, perfection, and the guidance of practical wisdom comprises 0 to 9. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And then from that, y'all, probably the most important numbers, 3, 6, 9, and 12. 3, 6, 9, and 12. They're all what? 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. The universal standard rule of measurement and the letters of the alphabet. I'm close, y'all, to what I wanted to get to about our culture is astrology. It's somewhere in this area. Astrology is the code. Here we are. Astrology is the code of the Moorish nation. Our forefathers of this hemisphere, that's the northern hemisphere, were founded. I'm sorry, let me start over. Astrology is the code of the Moorish nation, the Moroccan Empire. Our forefathers of this hemisphere, that's the northern hemisphere, that's the Al-Maghrib, who founded the Universal Order of Islam 1,367 years ago. 1,367 years ago, our forefathers in the northern hemisphere founded the Universal Order of Islam, okay? And re-educated the confused human family, thereby establishing the greatest civilization that the world has ever known, the civilization in which we now live. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then back to 0, okay? And then he continues, 3, 6, 9, and 12, the 60 seconds of the minute, 60 minutes an hour, and also the letters of the Arabic alphabet, all of which comprise the culture of the Moors. Let me underline that. So there y'all have it. All of which comprise the culture of the Moors, our forefathers of the Muslim world, who often referred to Christian literature as Mohammedans or heathens. Y'all got that? Hold on. I knew it was somewhere in there. So there y'all see it. That's on page 7. Give me one moment, please. Yeah, I had it in brackets. I didn't make a margin note. I put it in brackets. That's the problem. Okay, y'all, so our culture, the essence of what he's saying here is our culture is geometry, mathematics. And there is no room in our culture for mysticism or belief systems, okay, or doctrines. In other words, it's about what you know. Okay, and what you know is through what you observe. So I'm going to write the science of 0 through 9, and 3, 6, 9, and 12. Y'all all know these are big numbers, right? These are prominent numbers that we see. So the Christians refer to us as heathens. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. It's very interesting, right? I think it's very interesting. I started on Keynote Wisdom just because it was something that struck my attention, right? I just wanted to do it for some reason. And then here it is, what we were looking for. All right? All right. I like that. Well, let me just finish the last paragraph since we went this far. Actually, that is the last paragraph. So the next subheading is the code of the Roman cross order. All right. So clearly, this is going to start dealing with hybrids. The code of the Roman cross order. Y'all take a look. I'm not going to read it. Well, maybe I should. I don't know. Y'all see Roman? Can y'all see that? So I did the anagram. Y'all see what it says? See what it says? So the Moors are Moors. But the Roman is an antigram of Moor. It's derived from the Moor. All right, this is Yaqub's story. Yaqub and his 12 feminine scientists, right, who produced the hybrid or the Roman. And when you listen to the Nation of Islam, they'll tell you straight up, even though their story, that their story is, it's a shame that they don't tell you the truth. But here's what they tell you. They took the original man. Knowing that there was a black germ and a brown germ. This is what they tell you. And they bred them to produce the brown germ. And then the black babies they would kill off. All right? But the brown ones they let survive. But they would keep doing that until they completely removed all of the melanin from the skin. Okay? Until they got down to the point where they have a being that has translucent skin. Now, just how does an intelligent person think that creates a superior being? That doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense because you need the melanin to block the sun. So straight away, before you even start, you already should have enough common sense to tell you that, wait a minute, if I remove the melanin, and the melanin is part of your nervous system, right? Melanocytes and all of that. So it's going to affect your nervous system. As a matter of fact, I don't have my other device. I was going to show y'all what the cells look like. So, should I go into this? Well, let me just say this, okay? The only way to, in my opinion, the only way to tell a hybrid who has translucent skin, the only way to tell is skin biopsy. And here's why. Y'all know a lot of us, well, let me start a different place. Everybody was not all pitch black. That's just not true. It's just not true. Just a basic understanding of genetics tells you that. Just like we have people who have different, the shape of your lips are different, the shape of your nose is different, different people have a different shaped nose, different people have different shaped eyes, eyebrows, right? But it's the same with the skin complexion. It can be very dark or it can be light. It's just genetic variation. That's all. Otherwise, why would these very black people have a brown germ? Y'all see it? The brown germ would not be there if it didn't express itself, right? So even, from that point of view, the story doesn't make sense. If you're talking about Yaqub, the big-headed scientist, right? And he's so brilliant, and he studied science. Well, why did he miss these very basic fundamental things? Okay, if you disrupt the nervous system, there's no way that that's going to create a superior being. I could understand if he wanted to make them blacker or darker, right? But to remove the melanin so that they become translucent, that doesn't make you stronger. And you don't have to think about that. That's just common sense. And then not only that, but that's going to make their lifespan shorter, right? And according to Dr. Westman, the melanin is like a antenna. Okay, it's like an antenna where we can receive intelligence, cosmic intelligence. But no one has more melanin than the other. What happens is that with the person who's very dark brown, their melanin is more spread out over the cell, right? For example, if you look at a room, let's say you have a room, there's carpet in the entire room, okay? It's spread out, fully spread out. A person who's, let's say, brown, their melanin is not spread out over the entire room. Y'all follow me? It's not spread out over the entire room. When the sun hits it, it activates, and you get a suntan. That's your melanin activating and spreading out over the whole cell to protect it. Okay? So that's why we get a suntan. But to have an absence of melanin, go back to the biopsy. So with people who are a true hybrid, a pale-face hybrid, a true pale-face hybrid, you do a biopsy, they only have melanin in one layer of skin. Only one. And that's not normal. So there's no way that anybody who was trying to design a stronger, better type of man wouldn't have known that from Jump Street. All right? They would have made the man darker. So my point is that in the Yaqub story, we see that the initial offspring of the Romans, or what became Romans, they were still brown, black, not black, but various shades of brown in their complexion. But the Nation of Islam, they don't talk about the hybridization. They don't talk about that in their Yaqub story. I'm talking about the Neanderthal, the mixing of the sperm of the chimpanzee with the egg of the Moabite or Moorish woman, or the Moabites, right? And then the genetic engineering that came along with that. They don't talk about that. And I know why they don't talk about that. Because Farrakhan doesn't want to insult his friends. Okay? In other words, he'd rather tell you a half-truth and mislead you. Why? Because he has a tighter brotherhood connection and this is my opinion, to the secret societies that he belongs to. And he's only telling you, us, enough to gain your confidence and to get you to like him, to get you to look up to him and admire him, telling you something different. But he's actually even worse, because it's a half lie. All right, y'all? But anyway, so page 7, Clock of Destiny, volume 1, I'm going to read the last 2 paragraphs. This is a very short subheading. This subheading is called The Code of the Roman Cross Order. Y'all know the Roman Cross? They're using astrology, right? So here it is. Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now ours is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 0 again, right? Theirs is the Roman numeral, and theirs ends with 10. Okay, ours ends with 9, or returns to 0. Do y'all see that? Okay? So here we go. And the Latin or Spanish language comprised the Christian code of which was born out of ours. So the Christian code comes out of Moorish culture. Moorish comes out of our Moorish forefathers' code. What code is that? The Muslim, the Universal Order of Islam, rather. Okay. In South America, Patagonia, in South America, in parentheses, Patagonia, known today as Argentina. So Argentina, in ancient times, was Patagonia. Y'all know it's a lot of hybrids in Argentina. The original region of the new masses of humanity. So in other words, the sons of Yaqub, the Han Uman, right? They come from Patagonia, which is modern-day Argentina, the original region of the new masses of humanity who possess ruddy or red. That would be translucent, because ruddy, y'all, ruddy is actually brown like the color of a reddish brown cow or a squirrel or a horse. Ruddy or red. Then it has pale skin with greenish blue eyes and long blonde hair. Okay, y'all? The stringy blonde hair. Clear? All right. Argentina, Brazil, Peru, Colombia, and Venezuela, all of which comprise the springboard of the Roman nation. So this is where Yaqub did all of that. This is where he did his genetic engineering project. The sperm of a chimpanzee and the egg of a Moabite woman, right? And then these 12, according to the Nation of Islam, then these 12 Moabite women agreed to be impregnated. By the sperm of that chimpanzee, and to carry the baby in their womb. Now, do y'all believe that? You think they were? You think they would have agreed to it, or do you think they would have been forced into it, or do you think that some type of technology, some type of artificial womb would have been used. I can't imagine any woman agreeing to that. You know, giving birth, their own personal egg, being impregnated by a chimpanzee and then carrying that baby. I don't see any woman in her right mind agreeing to do that. I don't see any woman agreeing to carry that baby. Let's say if it's an egg of a woman, and then they impregnate the egg in a lab, and then they go to a woman who had nothing to do with that, and then they go to her and say, hey, we have this fertilized egg, and we want to put it in your womb, and then we want you to carry it for 9 months and then deliver it. What woman in her right mind is going to say, okay, I'll do it? Zero. I mean, all you ladies who are watching this, would y'all agree to that? Probably hell no. Hell to the no. Okay? So there was probably either force involved in this or an artificial womb. So we have to think critically, right? We have to think critically. Now it could be that Yaqub and his 12 feminine genetic engineers who worked along with him, they could have intended, I don't know, to make the product of their experimentation more dark or something, but they failed, and so they ended up with a pale, translucent. They ended up with a product, a being that had translucent skin. It could be that too, but that's not how the Nation of Islam tells that story. So again, red, translucent, pale skin, greenish blue eyes, and long blonde hair. This is the characteristic profile of the initial iteration of hybrids. Argentina, Brazil, Peru, Colombia, and Venezuela, all of which comprise the springboard of the Roman nation. So that's where they had their start. That's where Yaqub did his work. Okay? And then it continues, all of which comprise the springboard of the Roman nation of many different races. So, according to CMA, the Romans are many different races, castes and colors, guided by domas. I think he probably meant dogmas, but I'm going to look that up. Maybe this is a typo. D-O-M-A-S. Yeah, I think it's a typo. Next sentence, dogmas is a Latin phrase which defines as quote-unquote false doctrines. So all of these races, and of course y'all know we are Asiatics, but in my opinion, if we're going to say who we are, we should use what's used in the book of the law. We are man. I'm never going to say well, let me not say that. Human is Han Uman. Okay, so if that's what you want, and human is a monster. We are Asiatics. The whole planet was once called Asia. And we're thought made manifest from the soil. So Asiatic. But we are also man. And remember, in civics, they're using the principles from the Judeo-Christian religious system, right? The book of the law and the New Testament. So you can do whatever you want to do, but I'm rocking with, in the main, man and Asiatic. All right? See, man is very easy, right? Genesis 2, verse 7. It's a Judeo-Christian legal system dealing with estates, trust law, estates, debtors, creditors, commerce. So you can't go wrong with that, right? And so man, people. So we are one of the people, right? We are in terms of the Constitution for the United States of North America. We are one of the foreign United States. Okay, we're one of the people who ordained that Constitution. So people are men and women. All right. Nobody can ever question that or say what is a man, right? All right, y'all. So I didn't even touch what I wanted to touch, but at least in this class we can see that according to C.M. Bay, who knows much more than I know by far, that astrology is the culture of the Moors. Okay, geometry is the culture of the Moors, as he says here. This is on page 6. I am aware of the fact that both Muslim and Christ teachers have a monopoly on mystic religious superstition, but not on mathematics. See, Moors, this is our area where we can excel and we don't have to worry about the BS. Okay? But not on mathematics. The science of geometry covering the 12 signs of the Zodiac, the universal law, Islam, I self-law, and master, I self-law, adapt, master, and then we go to page 7. We, the family of man, are the only supreme moving planets or heavenly bodies. Okay, so he's talking about the energetic effect on consciousness and physical things. Astronomy has always involved this universal simple fact, namely woman and grown sons. Okay? In the course of 1 second, you don't need to think about it, can observe, can see the moon, S-U-N, sun, stars, and earth, and themselves without employing a telescope. All right? You can know yourself. All you need to do is make an effort to do it. Right? Take the scales off of your eyes. Therefore, woman and grown sons comprise the supreme manifestation of the whole creation, space, and time, which no doctrine or religious mystery, fear, and superstition to influence them to employ that which is right. So you can do what's right. Right? There's nothing in the way of you doing what's right. He goes on to say, astrology is the code of the Moorish nation. Our forefathers of this hemisphere, okay, Al-Maghrib al-Aqsa, who founded the Universal Order of Islam 1,367 years ago and re-educated the confused human family, thereby establishing the greatest civilization that the world has ever seen. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, back to 0. And then these powerful numbers, 3, 6, 9, and 12. The 60 seconds of the minute, 60 seconds of the hour, and also the letters of the Arabic alphabet, all of which comprise the culture of the Moors. So let me close that up and go to chapter 14, page 172. The title, The 12 Houses or Mansions Describe the Signification, the Significance, the Nature, the quality and description of the 12 houses. In other words, the description of your culture. Moorish. The description of Moorish culture. So if you want to return to the Most High, you want to follow the Most High's commandments, well then you should keep tuning in and listening and learning as we go through chapter 14, but not just chapter 14, all of it. Don't take some and reject the others, or don't take some and then don't even learn about the others. This is your culture. It's all mathematics, no religious doctrine, no religious mysticism. I hope everybody sees that. But we're going to start this for sure next class. We're going to start this for sure next class, all right? All right, so Islam to all the Moors, I, self, law, and master. Shalom, y'all.